This is Adam Bernstein. I'm the director of this episode.
I'm Peter Gould. I'm the co-writer along with the brilliant Sam Catlin of this episode.
Hi, Bryan Cranston playing Walter White.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Banks. I'm one of the actors in the episode.
And I'm Bill Powloski. I'm the visual effects supervisor.
And this is Mike Slovis. I'm the director of photography.
So this is all shot at the Crossroads Motel, which is right where 40 meets 25 in Albuquerque. And I think this is actually a meth hotel, as far as I can tell. And actually, I think when we were scouting this, we saw a prostitute and her happy customer come out of one of the rooms. And the other thing is, while we were shooting this is a great actress. Julie is a local actress who's actually, I think, mostly a soccer mom, but is fantastic in this part. And she was actually offered some business when she was just standing out front. I think on the day when Vince was doing the time-lapse shots.
She was a very good sport. She's also she's a triathlete.
Yeah, exactly.
You could tell.
And this stuff was actually shot with a still camera, right, Adam?
Now this
There's
sequence
one of
here.
her competitions there. She's very good at oral sex. What are the other two of the triathlon?
Now, when we were shooting this stuff, Pete was concerned that we were shooting too many blowjobs, and I didn't use it in my cut. But when Vince, did the final edit, the one thing he changed was to put in as many blowjobs as possible. And he said his rationale is that he wanted to beat out the Golden Girls for most on-screen blowjobs.
I still can't believe this made it on the air.
I got to tell you, this is one of the most fascinating and extremely effective openings I think we've ever had on our show, but any show I've ever seen. That's really a smart, fantastic job you guys did on this.
The other great thing is that she's carrying burgers from Blake's Lotta Burger, which is a local chain that didn't mind being used in this context. Did I violate a legal thing?
No, it's good.
Right.
And this is also it was a very dense, we just kind of talked through it. It's a very dense sequence. There's a lot going on there.
We get product placement money from Blake's Lotta Burger for that.
Is Blake's a union shop?
I think we get 4-second meals.
You know, one of the things that someone said, what's the theme song to Breaking Bad? And I went, is there one? It's like, dong, 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 dong.
I think you need to come up with some lyrics.
Yeah.
And, this is always fun to see you guys working together, you and RJ.
Oh, yeah?
And, of course, this is a callback to season 2, when you don't like the way he's driving with 2 feet.
Right. I mean, Walter White is that man of science, and everything has a specific purpose, and you should do things the right way. Just like he makes the most pristine, recipe for crystal meth, so too shall you should drive the car the right way.
I looked it up.
But this is important because now we see Walter White changing, letting some things go, holding fast to others.
Yeah, it's an interesting episode because Walt is really kind of tamped down through most of this.
Right, you guys kept him intentionally a little bit passive until the end.
Well, I think as we go, we'll talk about it, but there are moments in this episode when I want to yell at the screen, Walt, come on! Where's Heisenberg?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I remember talking to Vince about that, and he said specifically we want to kind of hide him away until the last moments of episode 13.
The baby was not cooperative.
We always get a laugh when Skylar's looking up money laundering in Wikipedia. Wikipedia allowed us to use them.
That's nice.
All right, here you go. All right.
Now this house in Albuquerque has regular visitors coming to the neighborhood to see it and take pictures of it. Do you know that?
Does Fran like that? Fran, the owner? Fran, she's happy?
Yeah.
With bells on.
Yeah, I think there's a whole Flickr group with people who've taken pictures of themselves in front of the White House.
Yeah.
Well, also there are couples that go to the Crossroads Motel because I heard it's the Breaking Bad motel for romantic getaways.
I don't find it romantic.
You don't? You stayed there, though.
Well, it's yes. Well, that's where the production puts us up, of course.
Have you thought any more about?
Oh, so this is where Skylar wants to get in on the action, right? This is the big turn for her.
So show me the flaws.
Yes, they're discussing the concept of the car wash. And I just love how you guys play off each other. This for me, this part of the season is very rewarding because earlier in the season, Skylar and Walt are so far apart, and here there's a little. You start seeing a little bit of a spark as you guys kind of pass the baton back and forth.
Yeah, and the idea of having her starting to turn to get interested in this line of work.
That is a story an auditor can
That's an interesting. That must have been an interesting discussion in the writers' room.
Oh, we struggled. But that was
I'll
one
bet
of
you
the
did.
great challenges of the season was what's going to happen to Skylar? How are we, how is she part of the show? It's still a concern, but it really, that was the first half of the season. That was one of the things that we were really most thinking about the most.
Starts shoveling money at me, and when the police come, I'm supposed to say, "Gee, I never thought about
The
that.
device of
Really?
using
That in your mind
Hank's
is deniability?
need for recovery then gave a justification for her to say, I'll accept this part. And once she tasted that and what that money could do and go to good use, that was sort of her whistle, so to speak. Yeah?
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's just, as the season ends. Oh, and there's Sam Catlin, of course, the other writer on the show.
He
This
got top
episode.
billing, I noticed.
It's alphabetical.
How did you get top billing?
It's alphabetical.
Is it?
It's all alphabetical. Yeah, I'm going to change my name to Peter Gould.
Yeah.
Triple A.
Plot, though. Why would your estranged husband be doing all this for you?
Oh, now, see,
yeah.
here's Walter negotiating.
Trying to get some leverage.
His family.
And I love the staging too. The way the movement kind of reflects what's going on between these two.
Feudal.
And Michael, of course, is somehow magically Skylar is backlit here.
Everyone's backlit all the time. How does that work, Slovis? Like, no matter where you look?
We've got connections.
Husband. Maybe if he were.
Of course, there's no backlight on me because look at the glow of the beautiful
A hair
blonde.
light.
Yeah.
You need a scalp light.
And the old wrinkled guy with the bald head, he doesn't get anything. And Jonathan Banks knows what I'm talking about that.
Yes, indeed.
So now we're on the fake location.
That's right. This
That
is
was our big hat trick. Is that we didn't have enough time to shoot
Dinner tonight.
the whole scene at the actual location, so we finished it on a set.
5 nights.
Which I think, Pete, did you notice that?
It
when
works.
you watched it?
It works beautifully.
Yeah, we shot this in January.
Yeah.
Adam, do we?
Yeah.
I think so. So the sun goes down quite early, as you know, and we ran out of light, so we had to do this. This is actually the part of the set on stage at Albuquerque Studios.
How do you make it match so well, Michael? What do you do?
We mimic the lighting, but we use this doorway every time, more often when we have people entering and exiting the house. I mean, that's what we really use it for. Very rarely for an entire scene like that.
But the actual entranceway of the house is, we're in the super lab.
Oh. Of course, that was one of our tricksy shots. Looking up inside the canister.
Indeed,
Unusual perspective.
and the dam that they had to protect the cameras from the liquids coming down overflowed on that, and the entire camera crew went running out from underneath this thing because the water was spilling all over them.
On this one?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I wasn't there when you got shot.
It's like, as I recall, it was sort of a 3-ring circus. There's people shooting pretty much everywhere.
I was there. I'm kidding.
Those costumes, by the way, make us look like peeps, like little Easter peeps.
Brian, did you talk about in any of the commentaries how the costumes changed? Those costumes were different at the beginning of the season?
No, I didn't. They were too noisy, if I recall correctly. And also there was something about it, they didn't breathe, and they're still not the greatest for that. But they get awfully warm underneath those things, so we try not to be zipped up tight.
It's interesting because on set they look very different. They look more like track suits because they're a little bit shiny.
Yeah,
but on film they read great.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely shinier than the ones that we used earlier on in the show.
This scene was a big surprise to me when we got there.
Oh,
because
you
the
were so
ceiling-
disappointed.
I was looking for any reason
This is a
to
restaurant.
move this scene.
Well, this is a restaurant called Paul's Monterey. We wanted to get like a really retro kind of red rawhide type place, and it was a fantastic location. But the ceilings were so low, which
They're
is
at
what
about 7.5 feet. You can see them in all the wide shots.
every DP hates that. But Mike Slovis somehow figured out how to light this scene
Shot combo.
under those circumstances.
He's a miracle worker.
These two scumbags.
And then at some point we'll get to our favorite thing, which is we go to the other side of the booth.
Oh, he's not the first.
Yeah.
Unless it's not there
Where the wall
anymore.
should be.
Where the wall should be. We put the camera where the wall should be.
You know, directors are caring less and less about crossing over on the line. Was that a consideration for you, Adam, when you were thinking about this?
No, I always feel like if there's two people just sort of parked talking to each other, everyone knows where they are. You know, and I always feel if you jump around the other side of the line, which means that if you draw a line between these two people, the camera goes on the other side.
Yeah, for
where it
instance, Aaron is looking
left to right.
to the right of the camera.
Oh, we
There
just
it is.
crossed
There
the
it is.
line.
We
There it
crossed
is.
on the other side.
And you are magically backlit in that direction as well.
That's true. This is a violation here.
That's pretty.
Although
The editor didn't want
because,
to use this shot at the beginning.
well,
She
although
refused.
Oh, really?
She
in-
said,
in
I crossed the
current-
line.
in current filmmaking, though, it's become acceptable. I mean, 10 years ago, if you would have cut to this, it would have been very jarring.
But you can even look at Casablanca, they crossed the line. That big scene on the tarmac at the end, they pop around a little bit.
I haven't seen it. Is that a good movie?
Yeah, it's all right.
The way
It's
it
got
works.
Ingrid Bergman. She's from Sweden.
Is it
But
still
that was
out
in the
theaters?
fog. There is no line in the fog.
The way it works for me on the crossing the line is it changes the emotional tone. You feel something, even if you're not really watching.
I know,
where the
that's
line
right.
is. You start feeling that the emotion has
It's
somehow
different. Yeah,
changed.
that's a good point.
It's a coverage freshener.
Now we're back on the other side of the line that we were before. So you notice that he's looking to the right of camera at me, and I'm looking to the left of camera at him.
Oh,
And then that's what you're generally you're supposed to stay on one line
Right.
or the other, whichever line you choose.
But if you jump around, the audience, sometimes they just feel something's different. They don't really.
And I agree with you. As long as you've established the geography, we know where we are, so it's not confusing.
But you can also use it to effect. If you want to jar the audience, it's a great tool to use.
Exactly. And also, if the scene's shifting gears, you're changing subjects, sometimes it's nice to shake it up like that. That's in my book, Dynamic Blocking for Television. It's like change of subject, change of coverage.
You know what? I love that book.
Thank you,
I have it
Bryan.
right next to my bed, and any time I can't get to sleep, I just.
Well, I noticed you
I
had it
pick
next
up.
to your chair when you were directing.
Oh,
You had my
it's
book,
fantastic.
which was nice.
That's what you said.
Aaron Paul does such a great job in this episode, and in all the episodes, but this one, it was really a wonderful challenge for him, and he really had a nice, varying performance.
I don't know. Whenever you two guys are together in a scene,
because this is an extremely long scene. You know, when
say that, Pete.
when you're writing and you see. Well,
You're saying it was
plays,
overwritten?
no, it plays. It
I'm just
plays
saying-
beautifully. It plays beautifully, and
saying Apple X, Pete. No, go ahead.
never mind. It's a long scene, and it plays beautifully. I find it fascinating.
Was there a lift? Did any dialogue end up ever getting taken out in the final version of it? Or was it?
I do not believe so.
Killed them months ago.
But it's because you guys create such a dynamic. You know, some parts just the attack on it. Some of it is loud. Some of it's very got a great push to it, and some of it hangs back a little bit. And it's one of the things that it's musical, really. What you guys do with the dialogue.
I know this scene is still going on.
Yes.
I've run out of things to say about this scene.
But
I'm
Adam,
so over
Adam,
this scene. By now.
Well, you know, though, I'll tell you why it's. I'll tell you. Speaking from the writers' room, why it's an important scene. You have to believe. You have to believe that there's no alternative but murder. You know, this is really, in order for these two characters to get to where they're going in this episode, they have to explore all their options.
Right, and you had to sort of put out all the little logical fires about it.
Yeah, and he leaves determined, and I'm worried, and he can't see the logic in my argument.
I love the little fireplace.
Where the hell is Heisenberg?
There's the fireplace. What?
Adam, it's also a testament to just letting great actors do their work. It's very simply recorded, and let them do their work, which is great.
Oh, knock knock rummy.
And
This is very funny.
I love Betsy's humming at the beginning of the scene. It's the humming that's just driving Hank batty.
I should tell her. I got to tell her. She can make some money on that.
That's right.
Well, I like saying it.
She is hilarious.
Knock, knock. You don't knock, knock. You just knock.
This is a tough. This part of the season was really tough for these characters because these are usually Hank and Marie are two of our lighter characters, and they go to such a dark place. And one of the things I'm really proud of is that we didn't have him instantly recover from this, these horrible wounds that he suffered. But it still put us in a situation where we've taken two of our characters who usually bring the light to the show, and they're in a very dark place. So I was really happy the turn that takes place between these two
At the end.
Yeah.
And still, when season 4 starts, I imagine that the physical and emotional trauma that he suffered is going to continue to some degree.
If
I just looked over to Peter and he shrugged I'm not going to tell
if we pick up where we left off.
Yeah. We may not. You see, this is interesting because we are in between 3rd season and 4th season of Breaking Bad. And I don't know what's going to happen when we start up. The actors are left in the dark.
Not for long. We have to figure it out first.